Ready.
Hello, Susan.
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. How are you?
I am doing great. No complaints.
Well,
Life is
nobody
good.
listens anyway, right? So
Nobody listens, and you know what? You just take what you have and you make the best of it. And that's what I do every day now. No matter, it
absolutely.
may not be what I want, but it's going to be something I'm going to make it work for me.
That is
So there you
correct.
go.
Well, hello,
Yeah.
What the 50s family. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks
Uh,
for hanging out with us.
that's right. So Susan and I have been discussing all kinds of things as always, but we thought an interesting thing to talk about blah, 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 is as you get older and your body's changed and all the things change, as that's part of what the podcast is about in the first place, is body shaming. How do you handle that? How do you handle the gray hair and the cellulite and the hairs and all the things? Because I think it's really important that we support each other and love each other and figure out how to do that because it's not easy. What do you think, Susan?
Well, I love this topic
Yeah,
because I actually have somebody coming in next week. We're working on our landing page for What the 50 Plus. And I'm not going to tell you much, but one of it was she kept asking me, why did you do it? And I had why did you want to do it? Why did you want to do it? It took about 8 times before I had a coming to Jesus moment of why I wanted to do it. So my introduction in, and Danica's working on hers, mine is going to be some of that comes to your body after 50, after 40, but after 50. But there's two things with this body shaming, and I'm going to hit one before I hit the other. One is our body shaming from ourselves. And we're horrible. We're
yeah,
horrible to ourselves.
horrible.
But
Absolutely.
I'm going to touch just a little bit on um, significant other, family, friends that body shame you and how you react. So I was with some friends the other day who had another couple that are not friends, nor will they ever be friends because I wanted to throat punch her husband by the end of the day. So every
Tell me how you
time,
really feel.
oh, I'm not kidding. I wanted to throat punch him, but instead I did throat punch him verbally, and y'all are gonna love this, and you are welcome to use it.
Okay.
So any opportunity that came up throughout that dinner, cocktails dinner, so it was about a 3 hour thing, that he could throw something in about his wife's stomach was bigger than when they got married. And I'm just gonna say, oh
Lovely.
yeah, I'm just so anytime, basically she looked like this. And the other thing that he did was about her boob sagging. So she had 3 children. And Susan just gets enough, and I don't give a fuck. Because like I said, I don't need more friends and not friends like that.
No,
So
agree.
about I counted, I waited till the third time boob thing. So we had the stomach, we had wrinkles, whatever. But oh yeah, do you know where I'm going with this?
Oh, yeah.
So the third time he said it, and I'm going to say his name was Tom, but it was not. I looked over and I said, "Hey, Tom, you know what's crazy about being a woman? When your tits sag as you get older because of gravity, the world can see it. Unlike your nut sack that I guarantee you is sagging compared to when she married you in your 20s. But unfortunately, we can't all see it and make fun of you." Yeah, I did. I did it, girl. I did it. I did
Oh
it.
my
I'm so
God.
proud of me. I'm
I'm
so proud of me.
high-fiving
Can you
you,
tell?
double high five. So what did
You know what
Tom
happened?
have to say?
Well, Tom, and clearly from what I said earlier, wasn't the brightest person, so it took him a moment to absorb it. However, I had 3 other girlfriends and their husbands that got it right away and lost their shit laughing. I think the husbands were laughing because I had the balls to do it. Ha! Get that narrative
Yeah,
balls. I had the balls
fun.
and they were sagging. The women were just like, yay. The wife was mortified
Oh,
because it is embarrassing to her that I had to say that. And I get that.
yeah.
But I wanted him to never do that to her again because you could see somebody every time their husband does that, you could see that gut punch. I mean,
Oh, and it
and I know
tears you
it'll say
down
something back. So
eventually.
Tom, it took a few minutes, and this is what he did. Oh, guess you got me there.
Did he sound like that?
He sounded like that. Yeah. Yeah. I guess you got me there. And I looked at him and I said, maybe
You
you'll
don't
think
get
about
it.
that next time you're insulting your wife, that somebody else like me might do it again and kind of embarrass you.
And it's sad too for her because, like you said, she was probably mortified, but I guarantee inside her little being was going, "Oh my gosh, thank you, thank you, thank you," even though she
Oh,
probably didn't dare say anything.
I no, I agree. And a couple reasons. As I said, the main reason was stop doing that to her because she loves you enough that she's not saying something to you, or she has said something to you and you're so damn whatever the word is that you continue to do it. Because
And
it's
you
got to
don't
be one
care.
of the two. She's either
Yeah.
saying something or she's not. But either way, you know me. It got to the point it was not acceptable.
Oh
And it
yeah.
was and it was making everybody at the table uncomfortable.
Oh, I would have done the
Because
same
all of
thing.
us
You
women are
know
sitting
that.
there with gravity boobs.
Yeah. I might.
Clearly, 40 plus, we
Yeah.
got gravity boobs.
Hey, and
But guess
I
what?
might not
I
have been so
guarantee you any
clever.
man 40 plus has gravity nutsack, whether it's a little or a lot. And I've dated men 20 years older. So I've dated 50s, 60s, and even in 70s. I'm going to tell you, I know, guys.
There's a difference.
Y'all don't talk about it, and women don't talk about it unless provoked.
There you go.
So,
Exactly.
as I said, there was a little bit with the body shaming. Um, yeah, that is probably, I hate that. I will put up with somebody insulting me before I will let them insult my friends.
Million percent. Same with me. And you
Yeah,
know what?
I am that way.
Susan, like I said, I would have done the exact same thing. Maybe not as clever. I don't know, but I'm pretty good at coming up with clever things as
I had
well.
had a really good vodka pomegranate cocktail with lavender, so I had my courage
Your
in.
creative juices were
And
flowing.
again, I watched the scene. You can feel when it's maybe you don't want to say something because maybe he'll go home and beat the shit out of her. You got to watch those things.
Sure, sure,
Um,
sure,
so
sure.
I felt like, yeah, I felt like he needed it. I felt like she wanted it,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I thought it was hysterical. And one of my girlfriends, as you know, what I mean, he didn't get an attitude. He did not get an attitude. He did not say another thing for the remaining 40 minutes. Not didn't say anything. He didn't say anything about that. And he
Good.
had made sure,
To say it
every
several times.
paragraph, a little snide remark was put in.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend Melissa was hysterical. I mean, she's dying laughing, and she goes, I love you, Susan. She goes, one, I always know we go out, you're going to make me laugh.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a horror, like there's a tornado coming, you'll somehow figure out how to make me laugh about a tornado coming. Because you'll probably be like, damn, Dorothy, you're going to lose your red shoes.
Yeah.
Something I will
Oh
say.
yeah.
She goes,
You've got to.
and he's sitting there and she goes, but I also love that you're that kind of friend. And I
Yep.
said, you know what? And so we went on.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
said, it was done, it was over, and we went on. Like I said, we had a good time. Wife was laughing, he was laughing, and we went right on.
Awesome.
I
That's
did
awesome.
also though, because and this is a restaurant I go to quite a bit, but there are people around,
Yeah.
and I could see sometimes when he would say something, a woman at another table would be like, fucking asshole. So I also did that little observation as that came out my table and the background. Few went like, they loved it. They loved it.
Of course.
So, that's it, and I will do that. So if you're at dinner with me, whether you're a woman or a man, and you're
Oh,
giving somebody
tell your
shit,
husband
just
away.
know I am non-filter. And I will take one for my girl. I will back my girls and my guys. I'm gonna go say that too. If you're giving some shit to one of my guy friends, I'm going
Yeah.
to say something too.
Oh,
So that
absolutely.
was the nutty ball sack and the boob thing. So
I
my
love it.
other one that I like to compare, and I posted this the other day and I took it down and I'm going to put it back up. I know it's so not like me to take it
Yeah.
down. But then I thought, you know what? It's only going to offend you if you should be offended.
If you exactly, you
So
can choose.
the comment, the thing that I read and I posted, it was really great. It said, before you start talking about anything about me aging, go ahead and remove that baseball cap.
That's not offensive.
Only if you're offended the fact that you're older and you're getting
You're
bald.
getting bald only if you're sensitive about it. But yeah, exactly.
Okay, but that's the point. And I
Yeah.
took it and then I went, wait a minute. If you're sensitive about it, then you should be sensitive about saying something to me about my wrinkles, my boobs, my gut, my cellulite, whatever you're saying to me
Yeah.
about aging.
Yeah.
You don't want because otherwise, like you say, they'd be like, yeah, I got a hat because yeah. So it's going back up.
Yep.
So I thought that was another one that I thought was really good. So again, if someone is saying something to you, and you can, I always say it in a fun, nice way. Yeah, it's bad, but it's funny.
Yeah.
So just like that, I would say if someone is making a comment, I'd be like, wait, before we go any further, can you take off that hat so we can be on the same playing field about what age is doing to us?
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's kind of funny. And
Exactly.
again, I wouldn't be saying it to somebody if they weren't already insulting me. I would never say that to
Oh,
any of my guy friends because I know men are sensitive about that.
they are.
So I'm not picking on men. You guys know I love you. You know, I have some amazing guy friends, but there's a lot of asshole guys out there. And they tend to some reason build their ego. I don't know why they do it, but they do talk about what happens to women as we age. And again, I think it's because you can see it more visually.
Right.
Um, but you guys have stuff too. We just typically don't say it. But now we got this podcast, so more women are going to say it. You
Absolutely.
better watch out, buddy.
And that's the thing is I think that we've been conditioned all of our lives to not make waves, to be the better
That
person, whatever,
polite,
and to
classy little lady that just sits there with her mouth closed.
exactly. But it's not about being a better person. It's not about being the like you said, a little classy lady. It's simply about standing up for ourselves. And you don't have to do it, like you said, in an ugly way. You could have said all kinds of things. You could have cussed at him. You could have bitched at him and whatever. You came up with something
Oh, I
clever
had thoughts
that
I
was
wanted
to
to
the
do.
point, and he took it very well, which was interesting, which I'm glad. But there's ways of standing up for yourself like that you can do, but so many people are afraid because they've been taught not to. They've been taught to shut up. If you can't say something nice, don't say it. And you know what? You don't
Who
have to say
doesn't wait,
something
but what
ugly.
you just I was taught, if you can't say something nice, don't say it. That means don't insult you. That
Right.
doesn't mean don't respond to being insulted. And I think that's
Exactly.
where we have gotten confused.
I agree.
I will
Yep.
not look for problems. I normally like to have a good time, and I let things go pretty far. Everybody
Yeah.
that knows me knows,
Yep.
but there will get a point,
Where you're done.
especially for friends and family. No,
Oh
enough
no.
is
No,
enough. I
that's a
cannot,
very short fuse
yeah,
for me.
I
Very
do
short
not
fuse.
like to see somebody put down, somebody criticized. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'll take it more than for somebody myself than I will somebody else.
Yeah.
But I think it has to stop. And, I'm probably a little bit burnout on that because many, many years, most of my clientele has been older. And
Uh,
that older generation, you're right, it was acceptable for the male to say something and the female better not respond, or he would knock her out of the chair, right in front of everybody at a kitchen table, and it was acceptable. That's the older generation.
the women
And
knew their place.
put them in their place. Yes.
Yeah.
And again, please don't not invite me because I'm not one of these that I'm looking for a fight. Please invite me to dinner. But again, no, it's appropriate.
Yeah.
And I will defend a waitress that's a total stranger if somebody's being rude because I
I
am that personality. But again, I will try to do it in kind of a funny way, like, yeah, I pushed you down, but I didn't skin your knee. But next time,
yeah.
I won't be
Next
so
time
mad.
it's on.
Yeah.
And the thing is too is that the truth about that is what obviously he was clueless, Tom was clueless too, and so many people are clueless too, is that we are the worst at body shaming ourselves.
We don't need any help.
She already hates her boobs and her tummy. And so to have a husband who is supposed to be your partner and your love and the person that makes you feel amazing doing that to you just absolutely tears you apart because
It is
every day she
raw
wakes up and
flesh
looks
that
at
he's doing.
herself and she hates that.
Yes.
And that's sad. And that's what I love about you
But
and
wait,
I
and
being
here's
able
what
to.
the whole circle comes back to as well. You've done this to her. She has a mirror.
Yeah.
You and I have a mirror. We do a Zoom. We're looking at each other right now as we do this, picking ourselves apart. I know
Yeah.
you are. I know I
Oh,
do.
are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that
I'm
right
I
there.
fix my hair. I do thinking,
So
wait,
you're right.
should I
We
put
don't
on the
need our
thing that gets rid of my
spouse
wrinkles?
to emphasize that without us asking. If we ask, fine. But if we don't ask, you don't need to volunteer it. We're aware of it. And
Exactly.
when you do that, you just made us even more self-conscious. And then you wonder why tonight we don't want to get naked and have sex with you.
Definitely to that next level. Or, but you know what? Even if it's
But
not
that
a
is the next
relationship,
level. Men
but even,
complain, oh, oh, she's so self-conscious. You're doing it to her.
yeah,
Now, Tom may have not been aware of it, and you're right. I think some men are aware of it and are assholes. I think some do it to get attention and they think they're being funny.
or
And
to
then
make
I think
themselves feel
some
better.
are, yes. But I do think there are some that are oblivious. I
Yeah,
really do.
I do too.
I made a comment to a client one time. They became very, very good friends, and I love them both. And his comment was his wife, he was very talkative. She was not. She didn't say a damn word. Took me forever to get her to talk. And she would talk to me when he wasn't around. But when
Right.
he was, she didn't say anything. So he would always complain she doesn't say anything. And so one time, I pulled him aside and I said, Gene, let me tell you something. and I like you both, and I've really struggled with this, but you're kind of rude to your wife. And he's like, what? And I said, you're a little bit rude to your wife, and I think she doesn't say anything so that you kind of don't focus on her. But as
Yeah.
soon as she would say something, then he's like, well, give me an example. What do you mean? And so I told him, and he honestly thought he was being funny. He did not realize what that was doing to her and how it made him look like an asshole to other people.
Yeah.
He honestly, I think he was, and the reason I say that is he changed. He changed.
I love
I mean,
that.
she came out of her shell, and I end up having like a 17-year relationship. He passed away. She's still alive. I still see her when I go to Indiana. She became a different woman once he wasn't picking on her, and he didn't know that's what he was doing because he
Yeah.
was a comedian, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, and you know
Yeah.
what? You see all the comedians out there, and that's one of the things too. When I go to a comedy show, the last thing I want to do is watch a comedian talking about him being fat or his mom being fat or whatever and all the things. There are some that are funny in the way they do it for a minute, but if it's all about that, to me, it just becomes unfunny very quickly, and it becomes the norm. Like you said, people think it's funny. And of course, like you said earlier, we can choose whether or not we're offended by it. But eventually it will wear on you. Just like me being on stage all my life, I weighed 98 pounds, and some lady said, "You look fat in those pants." I couldn't look fat in a gunny sack, but I still went, and I went home and I looked, I'm like, no, I don't. But eventually I got to that point. And so now I judge myself much more harshly. I never judged myself, I never cared. But
Yeah.
after the years and years and years and years of being treated like that, it started to get to me, or
Because you
relationship.
start thinking, do I
What am I
look
not
bad and I just
seeing?
don't get it?
Yeah.
And
Well,
this is how I think the body shaming came up because I told you the other day I have a group of friends I've made in Florida that have only met me since I quit smoking and gained 18 pounds. They've never known me before, not seen pictures, etc. So I'm, not constantly, but I'm like, oh, in the pictures I look heavy or this outfit doesn't work, etc. And they are all like,
what?
Susan, what are you talking about? Now they're thinner than me, so they're not bigger that they think I'm thin. But they say, I mean, you look very good.
Yeah.
So finally I'm like, no, I don't. So I pulled out a picture of who I like how I look. And I said, girls, this is what I've looked like most of my life, and this is where I want to get back to. I
Yeah.
allowed myself to gain weight, and they went, oh wow, you were really skinny.
Yes. That doesn't mean
They didn't
healthy.
say, oh wow, you are fat now. That's not
No,
how they saw me because this is how they know me.
because
They
you're
said,
not
oh my
fat.
God, you were really skinny. And
Yeah.
I said, yes, I was.
Yeah.
And I said, I may not get that thin again, but now do you understand why when I see myself as a heavy person? You did not, which confused me. And
Yeah.
we had a really great conversation about that.
I love
So,
that.
there's a book that's called Living in the Now, and you could take everything that goes cup half full, half empty.
Sure.
But the now is you're always basing things on your past experience, which we have to quit doing when we base it on today and moving forward. Right back to what you're saying. Both of now, I have been heavier in my life. I don't know if you have or not, but ironically, Kelly Clarkson, thank you. Kelly Clarkson has lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And she, majority of the time we have known her as a singer has been heavier.
Right.
She's
Heavy.
gone back and forth, but majority heavy. So, I see her, I'm like, my God, she's so thin. And everybody's thinking this, right? I wear an 8'10". Eights are tight, 10 are comfortable. Normally, I'm an 8'6" when I'm thin, which is actually an average size, not thin, but it's very thin on me. I'm looking at Kelly thinking, oh my gosh, she's so skinny, and I don't want to do this Ozempic. I won't do this or whatever it's called, but I'm
Right.
thinking about it because I'm like, look at her though. She's a size 12.
Yeah. Well, Marilyn Monroe
Yeah.
was the size of 12, 14.
No,
Marilyn
no, that's not the
Monroe.
point.
I know.
She looks skinny because she was
Oh,
a
because she
size
was heavy.
18,
Gotcha.
20.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking of her, you're like, oh my gosh, she's so skinny.
No, she's
She's
not.
not skinny, she's average, she's bigger than me.
Yeah.
But I feel like she's littler than me because I'm thinking of her here.
Yeah.
So what am I comparing it to? Now or her before?
And you can't
So
do
going
that.
into the
No.
body shaming, that's where I'm getting as far as if I constantly look in the mirror and compare myself to my 30-year-old self, I might as well slip my wrist now and get it over with.
Thank you. Well, and you know
Because
what?
my 30-year-old was young. She had no wrinkles. At that
Yeah.
point, she'd only had minimal stress and life. And, you know, uh, how many times have I smiled?
Oh
at
yeah.
30 versus 55.
Laugh line, smile
How many
line.
times have I had a straw or this in the years I
Oh,
smoked? 30 compared to,
yep,
so
exactly.
we have to, with the body shaming now, as I tell doctors and different things, because we all know I go in and I have peels. I had IPL the other day to get rid of all my dark, which is not here yet, but I'll take a picture when it gets nice and ugly and I kind of look like a creature for 24 hours
Yeah,
with
no,
the
it feels
scalp.
off.
Yeah, it's all real cute. I said, look, I live in the real world. I don't ever want to try to look in my 30s again because
Right.
I'm going to look stupid in my world. If you want to look in your 30s, again, you do you. This is me. But I want to look as good as I can for 55.
Yeah.
I'm going to take some dark spots away. But I told her, don't take every dark spot away. I would not look normal at 55 years old to not have one blemish on my face. I had blemishes at age 5. I had freckles. Don't
Yeah.
take my freckles away.
Yeah. I have freckles too.
So, ladies, we have to stop body shaming ourselves by just try to be the best you can at 55. Now, can I walk around and see a lot of women that are very thin? I call them yoga mamas. We have a lot of yoga mamas, and which is a compliment when I say that.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah. Yeah.
fit,
Yeah.
they're beautiful at 55, 65, 75.
Oh yeah.
But
And
they're
it
not
can
the
be, it can
majority.
happen. It's just a matter of your
Oh,
effort.
if you want to make the commitment. I
Yeah.
don't. Honestly, I'm not. I'm very real with myself. In my 40s, I made that commitment and did that 7 days a week workout, hour and a half. 45 minutes on the elliptical, the remaining with a trainer, and I looked freaking amazing from the hair on my head to my little toe. Even my little toe was cute. I swear it got
It's
muscles.
still cute.
But I want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't, but I do want to look a little better than right now.
Well,
That's
it's a
me.
matter, it's what it is too. It's not just, and I say this to everybody, including myself and whatever. We don't need anybody else to body shame us because we do it ourselves. So whether you're in a
Me
relationship or not.
too.
But for me, like when I lost my weight, which I was so excited, and I got down to my 98 to 102 pounds, people looked at, I felt amazing. I didn't look emaciated. I didn't look too thin to me, and I still had muscle. I wasn't gross, right? Was you can see there's a sickly thin and a healthy thin. I was
Correct.
healthy thin, but I'm going to tell you probably 50% of the people in my life would come up to me and say, "Are you okay? Are you sick? What's going on?" Because the world is overweight right now, the majority. And so people don't understand healthy, they don't understand thin. But it's not even about just being skinny, it's about where I feel good. And
Right.
so if I feel good at 100 pounds and somebody else thinks I look too thin, I don't really give a fuck what you think. I feel good there. I know I'm healthy. I eat healthy. I take care of myself. I'm not going to get, anorexic healthy. And no offense to anybody out there that's going through that problem. I know that's an issue, but that's, it wasn't an offensive thing, but I'm not.
Right.
So we have to be where we're healthy. Like your girls don't notice you're heavy. People, when I came back to the island, I'm heavier than I've been since I had my daughter. Oh my gosh, you look so great. Look better than you haven't ever. And I look down and my shirt's
Like,
bulging and I'm thinking,
well,
"Ugh."
that's what my girlfriend said. They kept going, Susie. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're,
Ugh.
they're lying to me, and I don't feel like you're being my true friend by saying that. That's
No,
honestly my reaction. I didn't say to, my first reaction was, I'm not sure if you guys are real friends because I know I don't look great.
but you do.
I did for
You
because
do.
honestly, 8'10" is not obese.
Right.
That is not my height for sure. Like
Right.
you're saying 102. Literally, I would be dead at 102.
Yeah.
If I got at my height, I could not be alive and weigh 102
Oh
pounds.
gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the reasons we like doing our podcast because we are very different people. So we get at least two different spectrums and maybe everybody in between. And when I was that thin and I'll tell you at the final when I knew I actually went, okay, I must really look good. I still beat myself up. My thighs could be thinner, my stomach, I had a six pack. Nope, it could be better. I still was not happy with myself, but the time that how I really knew I looked good is my sister saw me in a white bikini. We were
Uh-huh.
getting in a hot tub, and my sister's like, "Holy shit, look at your fucking body!" And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Wow, I've never. I mean, your body is perfect. Your
Yeah.
body is perfect." And I'm like, "Really?"
Thanks. No,
And
I've
she's
got a
like, "You don't
go ahead.
see that?" And I'm like, "Well, my thought." She's like, "No,
Shut up.
no, no."
Shut
Okay.
up.
So
Yeah.
you're right. And I had a girlfriend, Michelle, who always comments on us too. You bet,
Yeah.
Michelle.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I
she got very thin on her Weight Watchers, and she'd always been. Let me go back. I'd always known her as thin.
yeah.
My whole life, she was always the thin one. And then she had kids and life and gained some weight. So then she lost weight and she went back to the size she was when she got married, which I think was like 98 pounds or whatever, because she's her height.
Yeah.
I thought she did actually, I did think something was wrong with her because she was thinner than she went back to her weight. We're running out of time.
Yep.
Okay. She
We have
went
nine
back to
minutes. We're okay.
her weight when she got married, but she was also 18 when she got married. That looked very thin at 40.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that's probably the same with you. So I did have a conversation and I said, hey, you've gotten thin and I know you're happy, but you're kind of where I'm starting to get worried. If you get much thinner, I'm going to feel like something is wrong. And she's like, I'm okay, but okay. And a lot of people said that to her as well. And, you know, that is a double-edged sword. And I'm sure our thin people who have been naturally thin their whole lives
yeah.
jump in on this and please do. We're talking about heavy, 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 and it does work just the opposite.
Oh, I have friends that cannot
Friends
gain
that are
weight and
very
they're
thin.
so frustrated.
And, it's harder because people will not come up to you and I go, wow, you've really gained a lot of weight since I saw you last. They might think
Well,
it and you can see
some
it in their
people
face,
do.
but well, yeah, well, I'm going to tell them about their ball sacks. So, yes, those people will, but most people do not.
Right.
But thin people don't think it's insulting to go, oh my God, you're so thin, you need a sandwich. Oh my God, you're so skinny, I can see your bones. What people don't realize is for that person that struggles that way, it's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
body shaming them.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do it out of admiration. We're like, oh my God, I want to look like you. But we didn't say that. Now, if we say to them, oh my gosh, you are so thin, and I wish I looked as thin as you, and I wish I looked as thin as you naturally, that you have high metabolism, and that's how you're able, because whenever that conversation has come up with somebody, when I say, oh my gosh, you have such a great body, you're very, very thin, the thing will cut, eventually you get around to it that they have a problem. They have
Yeah,
a problem.
almost
And they
always.
can't gain weight. And they eat and they eat and they don't like the way they look
Exactly.
as a size
Exactly.
two.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
crazy.
and it's all perception. It's all perception because you look at me and you're like, okay, yeah, I know that she's gained weight, but you don't think I look fat or bad or whatever. I have heavy friends, I have thin friends. I look at them as my friends and people. And if I need to be worried, that's a different thing and that's a different conversation. I want us all to be healthy. But I had a
Yes.
situation too where I was dating someone and I think I was in my 40s and he said, "Man, she's awesome. I have a girlfriend that's in her 40s and she has a body like an 18-year-old." I'm like, "Ooh, thanks." And
Right?
I still wasn't unhappy with my body because I was more confident and I hadn't quite got to the point where I gained weight enough to go, ugh. But it was that, yeah, and I don't even really need anybody else's validation, but it
I
felt
know.
good. It
It was
felt
the
good.
compliment you needed.
Exactly. And so, and
It
we
was
do it to
like my
ourselves.
sister say that it was the compliment that I needed that went, give yourself a break and look in the mirror and just enjoy how you look, Susan. Stop,
Exactly.
stop trying to
Exactly.
be better and better. And yeah,
And it
yeah,
doesn't matter if it's
exactly.
about your weight, about your graying hair, about your ball sack. Oh, I have another one for you. Want to know another comeback real quick? If somebody talks about somebody's
Sure.
belly. So this was always one of my favorite jokes growing up. Or when I have friends that said it, the guys with the big bellies, they said, "Man, I got a dick do. My belly hang out farther than my dick do."
Oh my God. So you could actually
Stick
use
out,
something to them
stick
as
out farther. Yeah.
well, and I have done when they've said something about a girlfriend's belly.
Yeah.
I look at him and go,
Hmm. What
this
you
is
got
coming
going
from
on?
a guy that looks like he's a good 5 months pregnant with twins.
There you go.
Really?
So
She only
now
looks
you got
three
another
months.
one in your arsenal.
Yeah.
You stick
So
out fur.
that's funny. We
I
have to
know.
say, ooh, I hope you're 12 inches because that's the only way it's going to stick out further than the belly you have.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I could get quite rude to somebody that
Oh,
deserves it.
I know.
These are just kind of, these are kind of my two comments. I feel like there's somebody that A, either may not be aware of it
Yeah.
or not realize how it's not funny and it's affecting his wife, and then borderline if you're being an asshole.
Yeah. And
But now,
it's about awareness. So we need to be kind to each other, period. Because if she's got that going on, she knows it. I've got that going on. I know it. It's like if and having somebody come up and just pretty much slap you in the face or kick you in the stomach because they
I would
have
take,
to
I would
make a
rather have
comment.
that. That bruise will go away and
Oh,
I'll forget about it.
there you go. Well,
Versus,
of course I meant verbally, but just that
no, but
yeah.
no, but I mean, that's what, sometimes I would rather somebody punch me, the bruise goes away, whereas that verbal, it stays with you
Gets
forever and
me.
ever.
Gets me.
Yeah,
It's
and
harder. It's harder
and
to overcome.
I love there's a lot of things I always complain about the world we live in today, but one of the things I love about the world we live in today is you and I grew up in an era, and I think we were towards the end of that era, that you constantly were competing with other women.
Yeah.
And in order to better yourself, it was that I got to get the male in the room, the peacock doing my feathers thing, right?
Yeah.
So
You saw my
I
eye
have to
roll.
put you
Yeah.
down so the male will pick me. And so we became, and we never had those conversations, but this is what got drilled in our brains from the time we were little, I feel like. Something that we became very competitive. And you were more my competition than my friend. I don't know how to exactly say it, but
Well,
I could
no,
say it
because
the other.
oh gosh, for
Where
growing up,
now,
girls could not be friends. They didn't know how to be friends.
no, because you had to put each other down and compete. And, my granddaughter did something last night and oh my God, I was so proud of her. So she's telling me this story, and I know her little friends' names. So she tells me a story. She gets a little text and she says, "Oh gosh, Will just text me and asked me if I would ask," and I'm not going to say the second girl's name right, so I'm just going to say Sarah, if you would let Sarah know I like her. And
Love it.
I said, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "Well, I can't do that because my friend Mia likes him."
Oh, I love that. Good for her.
She texts him back and says, "Will, I love you. And in any other circumstances, I would be more than happy to let Sarah know and try to get you and Sarah together. But I'm friends with Mia and she knew it was okay with Mia, apparently. My friend Mia likes you, and I can't do that to my friend. I hope you understand."
Yay.
Right?
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
don't even know. Well, I don't, I know I wouldn't have done that at her age. She's 12.
I don't
I don't
think I
think I
would
would
have
have.
either.
No. Now it gets better. I know little Will. I've only met him once, but I love Will. And now I really love Will. Will sends back and says, "I understand that." Right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, as much as we talk about these young generations being assholes, and
They're
we do,
not all.
no. And they're just different than we are. And they're growing up differently and their environment's different. So, yes. But I was like, I am so proud of these two 12-year-old kids
That's awesome.
that she put her friend, and I said to her, "You put your friend first. There is nothing in the world that is more important than putting your family and your friends first, and especially before a guy."
Yep.
We were raised that you put the boyfriend first.
Yep.
Throw the girlfriends. Now, by junior high, I quit being that, and my few girlfriends will say they know this. But as we come forward to our age, I love this that we now compliment each other.
Yeah. Love each
We
other.
look for the good in each other instead of looking and going, "Hey,
Yeah.
Danica's gained some weight." Instead, I look and go,
Yeah.
"Damn, Danica's looking, she don't have that many wrinkles for her age." I'm looking for the positive, not the negative.
Exactly.
Look for, I may not like your dress, but do I like your shoes? Then compliment you on your shoes. Don't
Exactly.
bring out, and again, it doesn't matter if I like your dress or not. You like it. But I'm
Exactly.
saying instead of an insult, find a compliment. You
Exactly.
can
We've got
always
to
do
lift
that,
each other up.
lift each other up. And I think that is done so much more past the age of, again, I'm going to pull in you 40-year-old girls.
Yep.
40 plus, you just get to a plateau that you're like,
Oh, yeah.
you are going to defend your friends against their friends or family or spouses
Yep.
that don't lift them up.
Time to
We
make that
all do
shift.
that. We all know how we feel if we're, and I can't tell you how many times I've had a day that maybe I had a rough work, I was sick, whatever. I am having a shitty day, but I have to go to work. Can't cancel. And I go on that first appointment and somebody gives me a compliment.
It's
"Oh, wow, that's a really
your
pretty
day's made.
dress. Oh, I like whatever it is."
Yep.
They just threw all that, the balloon just went away with all the problems. And I'm like, "Thank
Thanks.
you." And I've got a minute and 20 seconds. So I'm going to try to catch real quick here. The other thing is I always had a challenge of saying thank you. Somebody says you have a pretty dress. I'm like, "Oh, I know. And if I could just lose 10 pounds, it would look better." Or, constantly, yes, we
Yep.
all do. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
or most women have done that in their life. No, now I just go, "Thank you."
Thank you so much.
And a lot of times I will go, "Thank you. Your compliment is going to make me have a better day."
Yep. Absolutely.
Because I've complimented them. And that is my response. I try to remember all the time is to go, even if it's a total stranger, "Thank you.
You
And you're
made
going
my
to make me
day.
have a better day." And then
Yep.
or you made it, and they're just like, "Well, now you've made their day." And you can say, "Well, you're
Yep.
welcome."
Oh, my
And you know what?
favorite
They're going
thing
to
is to do
continue
that
to
to
make
random
compliments
strangers. Random
because,
strangers, just
oh, well,
all
that's
the
going to be
time.
our next.
I love your
Let's do
eyes. I
that.
love this. I know. And we're
I
gonna
don't
get
think
cut
I don't
off.
think one is enough for the body shaming thing, but we're in it. We kind of ended that. So let's start our next podcast with, yes, what you're saying, giving compliments,
Yep.
how we can help other people love themselves more. If they
Perfect.
are the critic, we can stop that.
I love it. All right.
Thanks
Until
for
next
hanging with us,
time,
guys.
our What the 50 family, we love you. Mwah!
Comment, share, like, whatever you want to do, but just
All the
hang with us.
things. Oh, are you still there?
I'm still
Oh,
here.
okay. I love you, Susie.
Oh, so you just could stop recording it.
Yes. Now.